spirit of the victim has granted us a window into his final moments. It appeared the divination seance was a success. So those were my father's final moments. That baby we saw must have been you, Apollo. I will now decipher the experience of the deceased. Are you ready, Hornhead? Yes. Please proceed. Very well. Here are my interpretations of the facts as gleamed from the seance vision. Someone attempted to assassinate Queen Amora by setting her residence ablaze. Hornhead's father happened to stop by and was knocked out by the assassin. Daruk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter found at the scene of the crime. That is how he was determined to be the assassin. Hornhead's father tried to save his son. Sadly, he perished in the attempt. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. My father's final memories. They're right here for everyone to see, but can any of them unlock the truth behind what happened 23 years ago?
Objection!
Daruk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter that was found at the crime scene. However, the hand holding the lighter in the seance vision appears to be gloved. I believe you are right. What could this mean? It causes to question whether the hand in the vision really was Daruk's. If only we could make out the details a little better. Very well. I will attempt to focus a bit more on what the deceased saw. Perhaps this will help refine the seance vision. It seemed that there was a glove on that hand. Still, what significance could that have? It means that Daruk's fingerprints got on the lighter at some other time. Somebody could have even put them there after the fire.
Objection!
All we have is pure speculation, but the fact remains that they are his fingerprints. Therefore, it stands to reason that Daruk was the one who used the lighter.
Objection!
This means I have to prove that the figure in the vision is someone else, using the information in my father's final memories. Either way, it seems that I must revise my insights. But if someone had put his prints on the lighter after the fact, then we know not to whom it belongs. Okay, she's updated her insights. Time to go over them and see if there are any new inconsistencies to be found.
Objection!
Wait, this means that the real culprit is... The figure in this vision is clearly not Daruk. The distinctive band around their wrists gives the true identity away. Huh? The design... It can't be. This will prove the shoe's hand was captured in the seance vision.
Take that!
That photo. So you do believe the culprit to be... Does Mr. Inga had cuffs with the exact same pattern on them? You're referring to the cuffs of justice, correct? Yes, I hear they're a traditional part of a Kyoanese justice minister's attire. But what does this tell us? It tells us that the figure in the visit is none other than Kyoanese's late Minister of Justice, Inga Karol Karayan. No, not my father! So he plotted the assassination of the former queen as well as the current one? This is Mr. Inga? Is it the Rook's innocent of both charges? The fine dragons, they've been right all along! Hold it. Nahyuta? What you propose is not possible, Apollo. But back then, Inga Karayan was not the Minister of Justice. What? The Justice Minister 23 years ago was... you, Queen Garen. What? Alright. She served as the Minister of Justice before succeeding the throne. I guess you are supposed to get the assassination attempt 23 years ago as one. So then, the figure in this vision is actually... Your Eminence, it's you, isn't it? This is madness. Why would Her Eminence do such a thing? Because she would ascend to the throne. She wanted to usurp the throne from her sister Amora. That's why she tried to assassinate her. I find this all very hard to swallow. Your Eminence, are you the one responsible for the tearing my family apart? Was it you who killed my father? Your Eminence, I'm asking you a question.
Such insolence!
Peasants. Always carrying on about things of no import. You do not deny it then. You concealed the truth and used me for your own designs. Oh, Nahyuta, spare me your feeble-minded line of questioning. Even if the Rook were cleared of all charges. It says to be I who decides Regula's fate. You do wish for her to be queen someday, do you not? remember. Tyler's only to lie my good graces. Now kneel before me and fulfill your end of the bargain by offering me your head. Your Eminence, I am done heeding your commands. Even as you used my sister against me, I still believed you. I believe that protecting your secrets was in the best interest of this kingdom. You have been deceiving me all the while. Nahyuta. Nahyuta, you dare defy me! Your Eminence, I can turn the other cheek no more. Therefore, I hereby retract my confession in the murder of Justice Minister Inga. Retract, you say? Luke, find a piece of evidence you left behind. He's released Nahyuta from his suffering. And now, he's finally free. And all this time, not once did I reflect on my own conduct, for I had believed all was fate. Lost in my own sense of resignation, unable to wake from my despair. But you, Apollo, you have awakened me with your demonstration of our father's creed.
A dragon never yields.
I will carry on Daruk's legacy and fulfill his dream. Hear me, Garen. I will cast you down from your bloody throne. Long live the revolution! Insolent fool! Now even you prate on about revolution? Look at that. Oh, Apollo, it seems so funny making some headway down the road that the route carved out for us. Yeah. Now, if we can just prove Garen's guilt, we'll continue on down that road towards the revolution the route dreamed of. Your Eminence, you have been accused of the crime committed 23 years ago. Would you like to say anything in your defense? So fast, Your Majesty. The cuffs could not have been stolen and used without my knowledge. So you see, they can hardly be considered proof of anything. Why, I believe you're right. We know she's guilty. Well, is there any other evidence you would have me refute? Unfortunately, this photo was the last piece of evidence Rook left for me. So as far as evidence goes, I've got nothing else regarding that case from the past. However, now that Prosecutor Sabani has retracted his confession, we'll have to redeliberate the current case from scratch. Yes, the defense speaks the truth. Even though it is clear who the guilty party is. Queen Garen. The defense accuses you of the murder of Justice Minister Inga Karayan. But do you have any evidence, defense? Evidence that would prove Garen was the killer? There's still one more avenue for us to explore, Mr. Justice. There is Mr. Inga's final memories. Minister's killer poses the Rook. Therefore, one must ask, how did the killer dispose of their disguise? Hey, white! Our blood would have spattered onto the killer, so the blood-soaked clothes would have to have been dealt with somehow. If they're still around somewhere, then...
Objection!
I was wondering what absurd idea you would concoct next. Clothing can be disposed of most anywhere. I doubt you could find them now.
Objection!
And you don't know us very well. Your malevolence. Yes? On the day of your father's murder, you had been watching the courtyard from 2 p.m. Now during that time you saw Queen Garen, did you not? Yes, I did. I saw my mother entering the palace from the courtyard. And I was sure not to mention it because it had nothing to do with my father's murder. Rafa! You would not dare! When headed into the palace, did she have Daruk's clothes in her possession? No. No, she did not. So, maybe she disposed of them somewhere in the courtyard.
Objection!
They fell through the area following the crime, but they did not find anything resembling Daruk's clothes. But you know that already, didn't you, prosecutor? Yes, I admit no clothing was found. So you admit that you were merely speculating, chasing phantoms and delusions of evidence that never existed. This makes no sense. Clothing doesn't just disappear like that. If Garen wasn't carrying any clothes, he must have gone rid of them somewhere. Somewhere where she thought they'd never be found. They'd never be found, huh? I believe the Rook's clothes were hidden here.
Take that!
The tomb? You believe the clothing was hidden there? Yes, it's the only place it can be. Very well. Where in the tomb do you believe the clothes were hidden?
Take that!
Of course, that makes perfect sense. The clothes weren't simply hidden. They were returned to where they belonged. And by that you mean the killer would have had to get Daruk's clothes from somewhere. Luckily, they were right there. Yes, of course. At the time of the minister's murder, the Rook's body was already in the sarcophagus. So the killer could have simply borrowed his clothes. Right. Before the minister entered the tomb, the killer put on Daruk's clothes. And then hid behind the curtain above the sarcophagus. And after the minister was killed, Daruk's clothes were returned to his body.
Objection!
So what? This is still our speculation. We know not whether those clothes were actually used in the murder. Therefore, you cannot prove that they are somehow connected to this case.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong. I believe you already knew that. These clothes were definitely used during the minister's murder because of this.
Take that!
Blood stains on Daruk's chest are no doubt the result of being shot by the minister. However, that doesn't explain everything. There's also some blood splatter extending from his left elbow to his abdominal area. I believe this blood splatter came from...
Take that!
The killer wore these clothes during the murder, and the blood splatter must have come from Mr. Inga. I thought it was all the Rooks. That makes sense. Only one way to be sure, though. Let's get those stains analyzed right away. Indeed, this may be the conclusive evidence we need to prove the Queen's guilt.
Objection!
You cannot prove it was I who hid those clothes. They could very well have been hidden by a third party. Could they really? I'd say the possibility of someone other than Garen hiding the clothes. No, that's not possible. Your Eminence, I recall you saying the following. The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. That was your own testimony, word for word. Why, you insolent! Admit it. Only you could have hidden Daruk's clothes after they were used in the murder. And that means you are the one who killed Justice Minister Inga. Insignificant worm! You dare accuse me, the ruler of Kauaian? I think for one moment that such...
Objection!
I'm afraid such arguments are invalid here in this sacred hall, Your Eminence. Because even monarchs aren't above the law. It's the end of the line for you, Queen Garen. Time to come down from that lofty throne and face justice. Me? Face justice? Surely you jest. You're in no position to force my hand, lawyer. Oh? Surely you haven't forgotten about the Defense Culpability Act? Those who would support criminals would be deemed just as guilty. In short, should I be convicted of murdering my husband? Your dear brother, who delivered false testimony in my defense, shall also be found guilty. What? That can't be. Can it? By delivering false testimony in the course of protecting a guilty party, you would certainly be judged by this court as having supported a criminal. The Defense Culpability Act would most definitely come into play. But that law is so broad that anyone could be convicted under it. When it comes to the DC Act, even I am conflicted, and yet, as it currently stands, it is the law of the land. As you said earlier, no one is above the law. Of all the absurd things I've seen, this law really takes the cake. Now what? What can we even do at this point? We need not look so forlorn. Daruk has been cleared of our charges. So let's leave all thoughts of the real color revolution in the past where it belongs. Just let her off scot-free. And yet, I don't see any other choice.
Talk to them!
I cannot yield to her here, Apollo. If it will move the revolution forward, I will gladly face the DC Act. Now do it. Accuse Queen Garen of the crimes she has committed.
Such insolence!
What you speak of is not revolution. Our kingdom will not function without its sovereign. And rightful cannot ascend to the throne, for she is yet incapable of channeling spirits. Thus, accuse me. It's just destruction upon our failed kingdom, you terrorist! Terrorist? You still insist on accusing me? As ruling sovereign Kauaian, I proclaim the following.
who imperil the crown, no matter the reason, shall be subject to immediate execution upon the Queen's orders. What? Immediate execution? You still not comprehend? Then let me be clear. For the sake of this kingdom's future, and in accordance with the laws of Korean, I command that you be put to death at once. What the? Isn't this going a bit too far? Where is the guard and royal guard? They're on standby in case of an attack by falsely optimistic terrorists. Now, if you will continue to oppose me, the very embodiment of the law, then under my regal authority, you shall all be put to death.
Objection!
Oh, come on, this is insane, even for you. You can't possibly get away with something like this. This is a court of law. You can't just order our execution without due process.
Hold it!
Now look, Apollo. Truth and due process are certainly important. But so is your life, so think before you speak again. But... Please, Apollo, do not make this any worse than it already is. I cannot lose you to the Twilight Realm too. What am I supposed to do? How do I win against a court that could rewrite the law as he sees fit? How can I even bring her to justice? Is this really how it all ends? It is your life or your accusation, lawyer. You cannot hope for both. It is time to cease this insanity. If I do, should I accuse Queen Garen? I know what I have to do. Mr. White, you know that saying you're constantly reminding me and Athena of? The worst of times are when lawyers have to express their biggest smiles. You never fail to surprise me, Apollo. And Nahyuta, you know that creed we've known ever since we were kids? A dragon never yields. Apollo? They are not merely words. They are what's carried us this far. So now it's time to honor these words and the memories of the ones who gave them to us. I couldn't agree with you more, Apollo. Those words are more important to me than you know. If there's any time to remember them, it's now. It would seem, Apollo, that not one, but two auspicious creatures drove deep within you. A fierce dragon and a victorious phoenix that shall scatter the clouds hiding the heavens. I shall join you in your death-defying bluff. I think I finally understand what those words really mean, and the resolve they embody. Are you smiling? Even in the face of certain doom? Is there no end to your defiance? Unfortunately for you, no. I won't let fear or even the law force me to abandon the pursuit of truth. Because there is another saying in my country, the truth will set you free. Indeed, that is precisely what Daruk sought to do through this trial. He wished for us to break free from a certain despicable spiders immobilizing silver threads. We won't be intimidated by unjust laws or give in to fear. Abandoning the truth like that is just not a part of my playbook. There's only one path before us. Revolution! The time to make Daruk's dream a reality is upon us! Your Eminence, if you are the law here in Korean, then your very existence is wrong! Because you're this bleating no end. I know it's a bit late to ask, but what's the plan? If Garden is going to execute us on the spot under the Defense Culpability Act, and the law itself derives its power from the authority of the Crown, then there's only one thing to do. We dethrone her. Right here, right now. Alright, but how? It's not like we have a lot of time to come up with a way to do it either. I don't allow you to perform another cross-examination while we think. Don't worry, I'll come up with something. We'll be fine. We can't give up. Not now. We have to keep on fighting till the end. We can't allow these broken tiles to go on. It's time to make things right. Garen Nahyuta will be subject to the Defense Culpability Act, which means he will be put to death in accordance with the law. So the only way out of this is to dethrone Garen right now. Did you dethrone Garen? Luke was convinced that the orb is the key to the revolution in Karine's future. United Garen obsessed with the orb. It makes a large amount of sense. He probably doesn't want anyone using it to regain spiritual powers and rights to a throne. He had definitely tried to do just that, but that's where it starts to fall apart. He was going to have Sharon the founder, even after abducting Miss Faye after all. Founder is only known to those who become queen. That means the only people who currently know her name are Garen and Amara. So if someone else had the orb, they wouldn't be able to channel the founder. So that begs the question, why is Garen so fixated on the orb? Okay, let's not overthink this. Garen is obsessed with the orb because... It's hard to believe, but she wants spiritual power. Does that mean Garen can't channel spirits? That explains why she had Amara perform the rite of channeling. That way she let Amara live to stand in for her when the time came to channel spirits. So if Garen can't channel spirits, Garen's Defense Culpability Act was established under the Crown's authority. If she has no claim to the throne, then the DC Act would become null and void. No, not just the DC Act. All of the insane laws he's enacted would be swept away in one fell swoop.